want to share a sales concept with you which I think is very important and could be very valuable for you. I have a picture in a frame here. I'm sure can see that. It happens to be a picture of an NCR cash register, and it's important to me because this exact cash register was in my dad's retail store, the store that I grew up in, the store that I learned how to be a salesman. And when you look at anything in a frame, it focuses your eyes on what's there. That's how frames work. Well, there's another way to think about frames. And that is, when we look at life, we frame things as well. Especially when it has to do with when we buy things. And here's what I mean. I'm going to be looking for a car in the next few months. My lease is going to be up. And I've decided that I want to buy a car that gets 100 miles to the gallon. So that's my frame. I say I'm going to look at cars that get 100 miles to the gallon. So if the car is here, you know, it could be getting 50 miles to the gallon, or it could be cheaper than the cars that get 100 miles to the gallon. It doesn't fit my frame. Now, why is that important for you to understand? Because your prospects, no matter what you sell, have a frame. And if what you are selling doesn't fit into their frame, then you need to figure out a way to get them to look at things in a different way. For instance, if I go into the Volkswagen dealership and I look at Volkswagen vehicles that are diesel operated, this, that, and the other thing, they don't have anything that gets 100 miles to the gallon. So by definition, my frame eliminates them from the opportunity of selling me a car. But what if they can convince me that 100 miles to a gallon is simply another way of looking at the economics of owning a car? And when we look at the economics of owning a car, maybe the delta in the price of that 100 mile per gallon car versus the Volkswagen that gets 50 miles to the gallon, maybe I'm actually spending more money on looking at the 100 mile per gallon car. It doesn't matter. What matters is if they can get me to change my frame from 100 miles a gallon to a car that gets me the most economical way to get from point A to point B. That's a different frame. So it's critically important that you understand the frame that your prospect is looking at when making their buying decision. And for you to know how you get yourself inside that frame. Because if you're outside the frame, then you're outside the deal. Thanks for listening.